I'd like to welcome you to this week's report. It's been a week of mixed weather for sure. We've had rain, sun, clouds, cold, windy, calm, you name it, we've had it. And looks like we're going to have another week of it here ahead of us. So the good news is we've got fishable weather Saturday in most areas. That being said, we're going to have a storm coming in Saturday night. So that may change, but it looks like at least no wind early on Saturday. After that, Sunday looks blown out and just about everywhere. Monday as well. Looks like the weather stabilized a little bit during the week. But then looking way out on the forecast here, which is not really all that accurate, it looks like we're going to have quite a bit of wind on Saturday of next week as well. So for you guys wanting to go tuna fishing out at the Cortez and Tanner Banks, this may be your last shot to go. I don't know. I don't know if boats get out during the week or not, but you might want to jump on it if you can. But before I go to the map today, I want to talk a little bit about the season we're coming into here. We're at the end of December, rockfishing is going to close for 3 months, and fishing is going to be a little bit slower. And I'd like to keep you guys in content here with some videos to watch. And I'm going to be going over like some tackle stuff and how-to videos and things like that for next year. And basically what I want to do is during the winter is get everybody up to speed on what they might need in the coming year and things like that. So if you have any ideas of things you'd like to learn more about, and don't ask me to go shoot video of me catching tuna right now because that's not possible, but if there's any information you'd like to know about tackle for a certain application, or how to do something, or how to present a lure, or how to do any of those things, even how to run your boat to certain areas and catch certain types of fish, I've got 3 months of freedom here, because there's not going to be a whole lot to report other than guys fishing bass, and that's about it. So please leave a comment below, and if there's anything you want to know, if there's anything that you are interested in, you can hit me up on social media or Facebook or Instagram as well. Anyway, let's head to this week's map. All right, starting up at the Channel Islands, the boats up there are having good rock fishing when weather permits. So basically when it's windy, the sport boats getting stuck on the coast for the most part, or in the lee of Santa Cruz Island, and they're catching smaller rockfish, and it's not so great. On good weather days, they're stretching their legs a little bit, either run to the Rosa or to more exposed areas and have better rockfish with, get nice lings, reds, all that stuff. So if you're a sport boat guy, plan your trip accordingly. I wouldn't go when it's rough. It's as easy as looking at the weather, because I can assure you the fishing's not going to be as good. Midweek next week, we've got a few days of really nice weather up that way. Probably do this Saturday. I think next week, midweek, it might even be private boat friendly enough that I might take a run up there, maybe, depending if I, well, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's just standard stuff up there. I know they had a lot of lingcod on the Aloha Spirits running their lingcod trips. I think they're running them on Monday and Wednesday now, so if you're going up on a trip like that, why not go on one of those trips? I was just thinking about it when I was up there recently. With the limited amount of fish you can keep, 4 reds, 1 copper, 5 other rockfish, and 2 lingcod. That lingcod could be your highest percentage meat producer, really, based on their size. And when I was cleaning fish after my trip up there recently, we had limits basically. I think I was 1 link short of my limit, but when I brought the fish back and processed them up, filleted them all, and got the skin off and the rib cages out and all that other stuff, I was left with about 15 pounds of rockfish fillets, which is pretty good for a limit of fish. But if you go up there and you're catching 2-pounders, your results aren't going to be as good. So if you're going up there to stock the freezer up, I'd go on a calm day or go on a trip where you also have a good shot at catching a lingcod, which will be trips to Santa Rosa or a lingcod special or something like that. Along the coast, your chances are slim, and on rough days when they're fishing in the lee of something, it's probably not going to be a good chance either. Anyway, speaking of bags of rockfish, the El Dorado is still running those trips to San Nick, and they've been really loading up up there. They're getting lings, reds, chuckleheads, you name it. They're catching a whole variety of rockfish, and they're getting nice big bags full of fish. They also target whitefish and stuff like that while they're out there. It's a long run to make. It's 80 miles, but they're doing it on a 1-day trip, so you have a limited amount of fishing time on those trips. You got to be aware of that. If they leave at 10 o'clock at night, and they run 10 knots. They're going to be there at 6 in the morning. I doubt they're making 10 knots. Overall, probably get there at 7, and then they probably have to be out of there by noon or so to make the long run back. But while they're there, they're really loading up on fish. So that's what you're looking to do. If I was going rock fishing down here, I'd definitely go on one of those trips over a local trip. Not much else happening anywhere else. I know there's some bass biting along the coast. The Spitfire was running some charters up in Santa Monica Bay, had some sand bass earlier this week. That's all leadhead and squid stuff, and that's pretty standard wintertime fishing. We'll have plenty of time for that come January when everything else is closed. But really didn't hear a whole lot this week. With the weather being good Saturday, I'm probably going to run to either the Cat or to stay on the coast, and I wanted to go fish crankbaits for calicos and sand bass if I stay local. But good time of year to go over to Cat and do some crankbait fishing shallow. The problem we have with the full moon happening here, which is going to make for tough bass fishing midday. So if you're planning on doing some bass fishing, I'd plan on getting out there in the morning. Hopefully with the prefrontal conditions we have with the storm on Saturday, it might negate the negative effects of the full moon, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to weather windows right now. The only thing really else happening is offshore. Those bluefin are still biting at Tanner Banks, Tanner and Cortez. I don't know exactly where they're fishing out there, but if you're on a sport boat, I'm sure they got it figured out. That's anchor fishing out there. So basically they're anchoring up and getting fish on flatline sardines. The fish out there are mostly smaller fish, so you can get by on lighter line. Lighter line's definitely going to get more bites. This is the same fishing we were doing, 35 years ago out there at the same time of year, where these bluefin just hang out at the bank. You anchor up, you chum, they come through, you hang a few, they come through, you hang a few. The key to getting bit in those situations, in my experience, it's been a long time since I've done it, but I'm sure the same still applies today. Fishing a lively bait and keeping it in the bite zone. So it's not like when you're drifting and the fish stick with the boat and just bite the whole time. A lot of times they'll come through, 1 or 2 guys will get hooked up, 3 or 4 guys will flash the boat. If you're one of the guys that's fly lining 18 miles behind the boat because you put on a sardine and you just held it in free spool and let it all go out, your chance of getting a bite in that situation are pretty slim. So what I like to do, honestly, it's been a very long time, but I have always had good success doing it, is usually fishing a butt hook bait and keeping it close to the boat, changing it out every minute or so, minute and a half, or if they're biting a little further back, a nose hook bait. But these fish are coming in and reacting to the chum, and that chum they're reacting, you'll see them boil. They're not boiling 3 miles behind the boat, they're boiling in the chum line. So, as soon as that first fish is hooked or that first boil comes, you get a fresh bait in there, and you got a really good shot at getting bit. If you're scoped out 200, 300 yards, your chance of getting bit are pretty slim. And then you're in the tangle zone anyway. So, I'd use like a 30-pound setup, like a Penn 25 narrow. You don't need a 2-speed. Starter egg reel, maybe full of 65-pound braid with a 30-pound fluorocarbon leader. If you like a long top shot, put 100 yards on there. Small circle hook, get something that matches the bait you have. And don't use those super heavy duty circle hooks either. Get a nice light wire one. You're not going to break a hook on a 30-pound tuna. I'm not saying get one that looks like a trout hook, but they have that mid-size one. You don't need those big super heavy duty ones that guys using for the 100+ pounders. If you're going on one of those trips, also the rockfish are biting throughout the day. They're basically in the same zone as those tuna are. So if you get tired of catching tuna, you fish rockfish, bring some jigs, bring some of the slug on a lead head. They're not anchored that deep. You could have fun fishing with the bass gear on that stuff. They're getting some real big lingcod out there too. I know. I think it was the Pride was out the other day and had a real nice lingcod out there. But that bite has slowed down a bit from what it was. They're not necessarily getting limits. I think the last boat had like 15 fish. But again, we're coming to that full moon, which should be good for that bluefin bite. But we're going to have to see how the weather cooperates out there. It's never completely not windy out there, but I don't think it's too bad for a sport boat. But yeah, talking about fly lining sardines, anything you need to know like that or anything at all, just let me know. And in the comments there, and we could cover all that stuff in the coming months and have you all ready to go when the fishing starts up again. But anyway, that's about it for this week, guys. Have a good weekend and good luck if you're going.